asked for it. Now you got it straight from the home cooking. This is the Scotch with the early Queen H4 deviation, and this is happening because of a good comment on one of the posts. Throw me a comment, shoot me an email, tell me what you want to see. This line I covered in brief detail at the Emory Castle Chess Camp in Atlanta, and one of the students from my group asked about this. So I'm posting this video. This is some of the home cooking for one of my students who plays white with how to face this. And let me show you already that if you've never seen this before, pause your video and try to figure out if you can find the correct continuation here. Alright, hopefully you paused it. Now, firstly, if you try to make obvious looking enough moves like G3, go away. Yeah, Queen takes E4 check leaves you in one of these situations. So the best you can do at that point is just be a pawn down. So that's not going to do. Or you're like, well, can I defend the pawn? You just lose a knight. Well, can I take the knight first? Nope, check, and you're just down a pawn again. So the first plausible continuation is you must be more aggressive here, and that's the theme of this variation. Knight b5. Threatening c7 since the queen left its normal perch, protecting there. And now black plays bishop c5. If white gets greedy with knight takes c7, of course, after king d8, you don't want the rook because of mates. So queen e2 or queen f3, the engine liked both of those. And now the best move for black is queen d8, and after bishop e3, d6, knight d2. This was what my engine gave, and it liked white by, just about a booger's worth. So knight b5 is a plausible continuation, but I believe black gets enough equality here that you can justify playing the opening. So the only way to take an advantage against this is first with a natural move knight c3. But then again, we're posed with the question after bishop b4, what to do? And pretty much all of those same moves are bad for the same reasons here, which is why I wanted to cover them at first. G3, bishop d3. So first we need to stop the check, and it's a critical move, bishop e2. And after queen takes e4, now we play knight db5. And, this entire theme, it should be a memory marker for you if you're playing the white side of the Scotch, that queen h4 has left the c7 square weak, so you're looking at the opportunity to play knight b5. Those are the only plausible continuations. But this position is very interesting and dynamic. And I've seen players get much, much better even crushing positions with white and not be able to put their opponents away. So I find this queen h4 line very, very interesting, and it's something that I've looked at for my students who play e5 for nationals coming up. So first, bishop takes c3, and you don't want to take with a knight. If you take with a knight, the queen's going to take on g2, and you're going to be down some material. So b takes c3, it keeps the threat alive of knight c7. So the first question is, well, what happens if queen takes g2? Knight takes c7 check, and then we don't take his rook, we defend our rook while attacking the queen. And instead of grabbing the rook immediately, the engine liked bishop f4, and I think it liked white by, around +2. I don't recall exactly, but this is already, pretty crushing from a tactical standpoint. So going back after b takes c3, king d8 is a move that makes a lot of sense. And like I said, this is all about comfort. The engine likes white by about +1 all throughout here, but it's not the easiest +1 I've ever seen. Castles, a6, go away, obviously. Tickle, 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 and knight d4. And we're actually following a game between two players whose names I don't want to butcher out of disrespect for them, but white is a 2400 and black is about 2375. So I found this game very interesting, and right here, I mean, I had the question with the engine. D5 was played in the game. Well, what about queen takes d4? And this type of position will show you why white is better, but it's not easy. Knight f6, I mean, reasonable move. Bishop b2, yeah, reasonable move. Putting pressure on the knight on f6. All right, so if you just take, I'll play rook e7. I'm happy to just, check me a whole bunch. It'll be a draw. It's fine. So, but I'm playing to win. Black's not coordinated. Check. c4. Holds back some stuff. Check. Queen e2. And this position, the material means very little for black because it's hard for him to coordinate. I mean, if you play d6 here after queen e7, queen d8, it's pretty much over. So it's not the easiest position in the world. But again, it's not completely busted. So going back to the game with d5, we got queen h5, queen e7, defense, check. And black's starting to try to uncoil here. Knight f6. And I love that move, bishop h6. Instant replay. Bishop h6. Just doing that undermining of the g-pawn. That's one of my favorite tactical themes. So queen g4. And we go to this ending where white mops up nicely. And I'll just show you the rest of the game. Because the main question about this was the opening. But white definitely does due diligence here, and I love this. Get out of the check. No check for you, no check for you, and now the knight's not going anywhere, and black resign. So hopefully that answered your questions about the queen h4 line. And if you have any more opening video questions, hit me up. Happy to put something out, because typically I've analyzed the positions, and I have this somewhere in my notes, or for one of my students. So just ask.